What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 3 of Train with the 2000. This episode I'm going to cover August 19th through August 26th. I'm going to watch along with you guys, and we're going to talk about what I've been working on, what's been working, what hasn't, and the insights that I gained along the way. I'm not going to waste too much time on this, so I'm just going to do it in one take. It's currently 5:22 in the morning on Wednesday, August 28th, and I am getting ready to go play US Open teams. Me and my team are leaving today. And this entire video is going to be the training that I did to get ready for the tournament. So if you guys don't know, US Open Teams is a Butterfly sponsored tournament. It's taking place in Myrtle Beach this year. It's the standard team tournament where it's 3 versus 3. And I've spent the last week preparing and trying to get ready for it, both mentally, physically, and with my game. So in this first day, this was on Tuesday of last week, I couldn't train at our club because our club is closed on Tuesday, so I met with my friend here, Russell. This is actually at the KSU campus, Kennesaw State University. This is where I went to college, and this is actually the game room where I very first started playing table tennis. Fun fact, I didn't start playing table tennis till I was 21. I am currently 29, so for me this game room is very nostalgic. It's changed a lot since I was there, but the main difference is that it looks a lot better now. When I was there was no paint on the walls. There was just one table in the front, one table in the back, and then some pool tables. This guy with the milkshake was an absolute legend. Love that guy. Shout out, buddy, if he watches this somehow. He was just cracking me up all day. But the main things I'm working on this week are my serve receive, which you can see here I'm trying to open with my backhand flip as much as I can, trying to be more aggressive. I also am working on my body stance and my footwork, which I'll get into a little bit later, as well as relaxing my arm and my elbow and having more feeling with the ball. So these are really my biggest 3 takeaways from the week. I think that I've made huge improvements there, and specifically here on Tuesday, my main focus was on trying to relax my arm and learning how to flip. I had a lot of struggle in the beginning of this week with my flip. I could barely do it, and then when I was doing it, I couldn't do anything after. So I spent about 4 hours here training with Russell, and by the end of it, we're playing some matches here. I actually got some good flips in, but in the beginning, it was pretty much just a break factory. One thing that my coach told me that helped me a lot is she said that when you're going for a flip, you have to be super relaxed. And the analogy that she used was like if you're reaching for your water bottle or you're reaching something from a table, you don't like jerk your arm to go grab the thing. You just relax, you reach out and you grab it. And she said that that same feeling is the feeling that you need to have when you open serves. And a lot of times when I was trying to be aggressive, when I was opening serves, I was being really aggressive. So my main takeaway on Tuesday was just trying to relax, and I had a lot more feeling in my arm. But I hadn't quite figured out the footwork and the stance yet. So moving on, this is on Wednesday. As you can see, I'm still standing straight up, feet pretty flat on the floor, but my arm is a little bit more loose, and especially on the forehand side, I make a lot of progress here on Wednesday. Relaxing my arm and trying to snap it. You can see here I'm very tight in my arm. When I snap my arm, it's pretty much already tight when I set up. My elbow comes back. My arm doesn't actually open and close. It pretty much just stays the same the whole time, and I'm just swinging it through. One of the biggest breakthroughs that I've been making recently is allowing my arm to actually relax. You can see here the way I'm explaining it, I'm pulling my arm back. This is the correct way, right, to relax my arm. So this was a huge breakthrough for me on Wednesday, and I think it really carried me through the rest of the week. My forehand has been feeling better and better every day. And here you can hear me talking about what my coach told me. She said you need to relax your arm. You see, this looks much better. When I relax my arm, fully open it, and then fully close it, it's much easier for me to actually play the shot. So here I'm trying to get the feeling in, I'm trying to get it used to it, but I can tell immediately that it's much better. So this is the big takeaway that I took away from Wednesday, is that when you open and relax your arm, you get way more feeling. And then we moved right into serve receive. I'm still working on the flip here. The goal was to flip to the backhand, play a couple shots to the backhand, and then go down the line if possible. I have a couple good shorts out from this day. I had a couple good shots. I haven't really been posting as many shorts lately because I've got a new job and I'm working in corporate America stuff and project management. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm doing a good job there before I kind of dive back into posting all the time. But I do want to start being more consistent posting these training for 2000. So here is an actual practice match, and you can tell my backhand flip is really suffering there. I kind of was getting it down in the training, but when it comes to the match, I'm just unable to execute still. I hadn't quite figured out how to actually do it yet. I mean, I had learned that, you know, you need to be more relaxed and you need to have the feeling, but there was a lot of things that I hadn't actually done. Like, as you can see, I just kind of walk in and stand still. I'm completely flat on the ground. And another thing is, I'll try to take the flip at the top of the bounce, which is not going to work. I learned later on that you have to start, when you do the flip, you have to be relaxed, move your feet quickly, and you have to take it as low as possible. That one actually landed, and you can see I waited a little bit longer on those. But most of the time, the only ones that I hit are the half long ones or the long ones. Still, at this point, it wasn't until I think Thursday or Friday that I really started to get the flip down. I lost that match 0-3 to Jermaine. He just absolutely destroyed me. But I told myself, no matter what happens, I'm going to keep trying to flip. I'm going to try to be aggressive. I'm going to try to do what I'm working on. So this was the first day where I really locked in and just focused flip. So this is on Thursday. All I did was flip all day on Thursday. I just focused on receive, flip. You can see my footwork here is a little bit better. I got destroyed so badly on Wednesday. I sent the video to my coach and I was like, hey, I actually made like a clip, about a 5-minute clip of me missing shots. I didn't hit a single winner in the entire clip from the training and from my match, and I just showed it to my coach and I asked her, you know, what do you think is wrong? The very first thing she said is that my footwork is wrong. She said, you don't use your feet enough and you stand up straight. Like your body stance, you don't get your body down. She was like, so it doesn't matter if in your shot you have to stand up. The next thing that you have to do after every shot is get lower. So you can see here I'm making a huge effort to stay low. And I'm making a big effort to be quicker with my toes. The next thing she said is that when I'm flipping, she said I'm going too early and trying to get it off the bounce. She said as far as technique for forehand and backhand goes, it looks much better with me relaxing my arm, and I don't really need to worry about that anymore. Here I'm working on trying to counter heavy spin. So if you guys know my buddy Russell, he's got one of the spinniest forehands ever. He recently got 1900, 1950, I think, at the local tournament, just spinning people down and smashing the next one. But I've played him a lot, so I know that spin's coming. But all I really did was focus on countering heavy spin here and then flipping. And this is the first day where I actually started to feel a lot of progress in my flip. As you can see, I'm hitting a lot more shots, and I'm able to play a couple shots after. After you see, pretty much, I'm still so unused to flipping that if he gets it back, I pretty much just block and stand up straight still. I haven't really got into the habit of really playing yet, but yeah, this is still on Thursday. Just now starting matches. Russell and I took a long day on Thursday. We ended up playing like 5 or 6 matches. So I wasn't gonna, I've probably got about 8 minutes of highlights from this day. Just the third balls, good points, long points, stuff like that. I tried my best to condense it down so, the video's not so long. But if you guys would like to see the full 6 matches highlights, and you be sure to let me know. I can always post it. I still have it, so. But yeah, this day I knew I was going to be playing a lot of matches, and I told Russell, no matter what, I'm basically going to focus on what I'm focusing on. You just do your thing, try to beat me, whatever. Russell's very, very strong at opening spinny and using his forehand, and he also is very strong at fishing. So there's a kind of a combination between the two styles here in these highlights where you'll see that he'll try to spin me down, or he'll just get back and let me hit. And he's actually one of the best fishers that I play with, so it's really nice playing with him because I get a lot of shots in. But as you can see, I'm doing a lot better with the backhand. I'm trying to stay low after every shot. I feel a lot lower, but I haven't really figured out the footwork yet. Like you can see right there, I'm still standing still. Not much progress has been made other than the fact that I'm staying lower. And that I'm using my flip at this point. So, that's how it is when you're training. It's always long and slow. You don't figure everything out at once. It takes a long time for everything to come together. But I'll say for this, I felt a lot more comfortable. Ooh, big chop. I felt a lot more comfortable at least trying to flip in this game. So also I think it's because, I know Russell serves. I've been playing with Russell for a long time. At this point, I felt I was able to flip, and I felt I was able to play well, but I still haven't quite learned how to move. Like as you can see, especially when Russell starts flipping, I have a bad habit that I just stand up straight. And I try to start like smashing. What you see right there, I'm just standing straight up, and then I kind of get low again. But especially when people are fishing, I realized actually on this day, one of the biggest takeaways I had from this day is that when people play slow or that when people fish, I still need to stay low and use my footwork just as much as I can. But you see here, I tend to be pretty lazy. This is before I had realized what was going on. I actually missed a lot of these fishing points. I just tried to, I didn't want to post a brick factory, but basically I tried to stay standing. I tried to smash Russell down, play good shots, and I kept just being lazy. And part of it is being tired, but also part of it is just not realizing that I need to stay low. So walking away from this day, I actually realized, I'm not as bad at fishers and killing high balls as I thought. Really, I'm just lazy. So that actually was a great takeaway for me, and probably the biggest takeaway of the day, other than my flip. This was our longest point, I think. Yeah, this one was nice. Yeah, so anyway, moving on. This is Friday now. So Thursday was a great time. I had a good time playing 5 full matches with Russell. Little backhand warm up, and then we're right into it. For Friday, I decided that all I wanted to do was random. So I probably did 4 or 5 different sessions of random. Here, as you see right there, if you rewind, I just realized that the way that I'm getting lower is wrong. I basically, to get low, I've been dropping my butt this whole time, and this was the first day where I realized that I need to be getting lower by bending forward. This is something Coach Amy always has told me, and we always tell our students, but that I didn't realize that I was doing myself, is that in table tennis you have to keep your back relaxed and your front strong. So you can see here I'm pointing out my stomach. That's how I've been playing up until this point. So when I get lower without relaxing my back, basically, which is putting a lot of strain and a lot of pressure on my quad. So like I could tell right away, like after trying to play one random, my legs were burning. And Coach Amy always says if your quads are burning, that means you're getting too low. She's like, you shouldn't be burning that bad. You should be able to play. And she said at the end it should feel like jogging. You shouldn't be so tired. So it was a big takeaway immediately for me that I needed to keep my back more relaxed. And as you can see here, this is the first day where I really do better staying low and actually moving. You can see my back here is a lot more relaxed and rounded. This helped me move a lot better. And I'm a tall guy anyway. I'm about 6 foot. So this is actually very important for me. If I keep my back too tight, when I get low, I can't actually use my power. I can't actually twist. So I have to stay, arguably lower than the average person with my height. So this was a huge breakthrough for me. It felt much better. Here I'm again working on flip. I worked on it every single day. You can tell I still am not having the best relaxation and timing here, but I'm moving into the rally a lot better because of my new relaxation in my back and staying low. I'm actually able to play shots after the flick and feel comfortable in the rally real quick. I'm able to flip, get back quickly, and then keep going. This is my buddy Anis. He's about 1950 something. I think his highest rating is like 1990, but he's 2000. He just doesn't play too many tournaments. In my opinion, he's easily 2000. That's going on. He's my good friend. He started playing when he was young. I think he took a little break for a while and then he got back into it. So the thing with Anis is he has a ridiculous forehand. His forehand is really spinny, really strong, and then his backhand's just stable. He tends to stay, more close to the table with the backhand. Good, super strong block, super good punch, and we're working on helping him flip and receive serve, spinny, and loop and everything. So he's a really good partner for me because our level is so equal. So I tried my best. Also, another thing with him is he has really good serves. So I tried my best to be aggressive against his serves because I know if I can be aggressive with his serves, then I'll be able to play well in the tournament. So yeah, the Friday session was pretty short. This is moving into Saturday. Friday I had a lot to do, so I didn't get to play too much. But moving into Saturday, I kept my same energy of trying to do as much random multi-ball as I can just to prepare for the tournament because, I feel like if I'm doing too much, forehand, backhand, all that stuff, it's not really going to be realistic for my training. So I tried to just focus on serve, receive, and random moving up to the tournament. You can see here my footwork is finally starting to come together. My back is relaxed. I'm staying lower. I felt a lot better on this day. That was a stupid point. This is Garth actually. This is my buddy Garth. He is a former 2200. So Garth played in the 80s, and in the 80s he was 2200. And if you guys know, back then, 2200 was a lot better than it is now because there was less players playing. So I would say Garth probably, if we put him on today's scale, was probably more like 2400. If we consider the highest players today. So Garth is basically a legend to me. He started playing when he was in Jamaica. He trained with one of the former Jamaican national team champions, former #1 in Jamaica. He started playing when he was probably about 11. So Garth took a long break from the sport. He ended up playing soccer a little bit more seriously, but he took a long break. And he just now comes and helps us train. He gives us advice. He's a very wise table tennis player. He's able to look at our games and really give us advice that's based for us. So we really like when he comes to the training. He usually only comes on Saturdays because he works and stuff. So yeah, shout out to Garth. Really appreciate it. He was giving me all kinds of serves and letting me flip all of them. So sometimes top spin, side spin, everything. And it was just very helpful. Here I'm working on trying to flip with Jermaine. Here I'm working on letting Jermaine open and then getting into the rally. Jermaine has an extremely strong and spinny backhand, so that's a very tough day to have with him. But yeah, that was the session for Saturday. It was pretty quick, pretty easy. Everybody had to get out of there. And here is Sunday. So Sunday was interesting because Sunday we had our very first Spindex league at EC Sports. So if you don't know what Spindex is, it's the rating system that's used by MLTT. I am very, very, very pleased with Spindex. I think that this company is actually doing something to grow the sport of table tennis like nobody's ever done before. Compared to USATT, it's a lot smaller and it's still growing, but they're doing way more to make table tennis accessible than USATT is. For one, they're going to make it to where people can play ranked matches anytime, anywhere without the need for tournaments. So kind of like if you guys know Duper for pickleball, you can walk up and play a ranked match anytime you want, and we want that same energy in table tennis. In my opinion, it's kind of crazy that there are over 300 million Americans and there's only 15,000 people that are registered to play in the USATT. And that doesn't even mean tournament players. Some of those players only play the leagues. So, and I have a lot of opinions about that. I think USATT could be doing more to grow the sport and not to focus so much on
using my feet.
Trying to have these big events like nationals and things like that. And that's why I'm really trying to get behind Spindex and do what I can to help him grow, because I really believe in that, and I really think that what they're doing is going to be much more helpful for the sport. It's a free system. You don't have to pay to be on Spindex. You just sign up and you play. Your rating updates automatically within 24 hours instead of having to wait 5 days after the tournament to get your rating posted. You get it immediately. Not only that, you get to see where you stack up against the pros, and you get to see all of the MLTT players are in there. So I believe the rating system goes up to 3,000, so it's not too different as far as the ELO is concerned. But yeah, this is something that we're going to be doing every single Sunday. So from now on, moving forward in the Train with 2000s, there's always going to be, I think, my highlights from the league. I tried to use this day as just tournament practice and try to see what felt good and what felt bad. The first thing I noticed was that earlier in my match against Denise, if you guys saw, I was extremely nervous. So I don't know why. It was my first like serious ranked match in a long time, I guess, and I just got really nervous. I lost 1-3, and that was the biggest takeaway of the day, is that when I walk into these matches against these higher level players in the US Open, I just have to play my game and relax. Unfortunately, my game with Jermaine, the camera didn't record, but we had some great matches, and we had some great points, but I lost that match as well. He beat me 3-0. Anis beat me 3-1. My buddy Dylan, you saw there, he's about 1,500, so I beat him 3-0. And this is my match with Russell. He showed up a lot later in the day, but luckily, because Spindex is so good and we can play anytime we want, I just reopened his draw and we got to play our match. So yeah, I highly recommend, if you guys go to a club or if you guys are working at a club, reach out to me if you have questions. Let me help you get this Spindex set up at your club. It's really cool that anybody can show up, get their rating for free. Things can get updated very quickly. We just really like it here at EC Sports, and we're going to keep doing it every Sunday. So also, if you guys are local, or if you ever in the Atlanta area and you want to come play a Spindex tournament with us, by all means do it. We're going to be doing the league every Sunday, and I think we're going to start throwing a couple of Spindex tournaments here and there whenever we can. So by this point, I have started feeling much more comfortable with my flip. Just to get into the technique a little bit, you can tell I've got my feet moving. I did a few step around flips against Russell, felt very Lin Wenru-esque. I was very happy with my game here, and I felt much more comfortable. This is really the first day where everything kind of came together. My footwork, my flip, my new stance, trying to stay low. This was really the first day where I felt great. Moving in, this is Monday, so this is the last day of this episode of Train with the 2000, and this is my buddy Trip Roach. He is from South Carolina, Columbia. He is pioneering table tennis in South Carolina. I remember when I first started, there was very, very, very little going on in table tennis world in South Carolina, and Trip has single-handedly changed that. Trip has been absolutely insane creating tournaments, creating clubs. He's even done legislation to get table tennis tables in parks in South Carolina. He's just been a huge force for table tennis over there, and I really, really love this guy. I try to help him as much as I can. I think he's doing great things for our sport. He's one of the people that I've seen, he's trying to put together, Southeastern table tennis tournaments. He's trying to create some kind of championship for us, an open just for us, stuff like that, because here in the Southeast, I would say we're probably one of the smaller locations for table tennis. If you guys don't know, the Northeast and the Southwest are really the giants for table tennis. When you get into New York and California, that's when you start to see the big academies and the massive tournaments and stuff like that. But here in Atlanta and Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Florida, we don't have, the table tennis infrastructure that everybody else has. So people like Trip that are going out there and they're trying to, organize, and they're trying to, bring people together, grow the sport. I really appreciate people like that, and I do whatever I can to help them as much as I can. If you guys don't know, the tournament that I actually got 2000 at was one of Trip's tournaments. It was when I was in South Carolina. So there's also like a nostalgic vibe for me there. Of course, again, I just worked here with letting him open first and working on counter, as well as my flip. And then we got it straight into some practice matches, because everybody here is going to be playing US Open teams. Trip is on another team, and I do believe we're going to be playing this team. So for next week's episodes, it's mostly just going to be a recap of everything that happened in the teams tournament between Friday and Sunday. I don't expect that I'm going to be doing much training after that. I'm probably going to need to rest on Monday, and then Tuesday the club is closed. So my guess is that for episode 4 of Train with 2000, it's just going to be a teams recap. So you guys make sure to tune in. You might get to see me play Trip there as well. But here is my practice match from Monday against Denise, and this is the very first day where everything came together for me. My footwork is fast, I'm able to stay low, I'm opening serves, my arm stays relaxed. I'm very proud of and pleased with how I was playing on this day. I went down 0-2 against Denise because I realized I was trying to just swing through him. But like I told you guys earlier, his forehand is strong and his backhand is stable. So if I wasn't smart and if I didn't play spinny, I wasn't able to really get a good shot in. I was always trying to hit off the back foot. Ooh, he had a crazy save right there. Ooh, okay, yeah. Sorry, that point was good. So I went down the first 2 points just going straight power all the time, and then I had to change my tactics up a little bit. I had to start opening really heavy and focusing on keeping the ball on the table, playing as much spin as I could. Once I started doing that, I was able to stay in the points a lot longer, and I was eventually able to take away the W. I think I ended up winning 3-2. It was very close, all the games. So, like I said, Denise is a very strong player, and I had to play smart. But as you can see here, I'm doing my best to try to play more good placements. Trying to spin more. Ooh, yeah, right here he's got a good backhand. I remember that shot. So yeah, especially after he beat me so bad in the league on Sunday, I really wanted to do my best to play better this time. I was just so nervous in the league, and I'm really glad I got that match out of the way, because it was a big eye opener for me that I can't go into my matches at teams that way. I just have to play my game, and whatever happens, happens. So this was a great W and a great learning moment for me. This is my match against my buddy Trip. I actually played 2 matches with him, but this was just the first one. I think this one was a little less serious. I was trying to have a little bit more fun than at least compared to the match against Denise. You know, against Denise is 2,000. Tripp's around 1,800, so I kind of have a little bit more fun with him. Let him play a little bit more. Tripp has a very strong away from the table game, so once he gets back, that ball is just going to keep coming on the table. But unfortunately for him, our club is a little bit smaller than what he's used to, so he couldn't really back up. You know, he likes to get like way back, and here you can only get kind of back, so he felt definitely uncomfortable, and especially against me and my style. You know, as you can see there, he's at the wall. He really doesn't like to play against my style anyway, because all I do is stay close and attack. And then on top of that, he knew he couldn't back up and lob the way he really likes to, so definitely I think he had a harder time. This actually started a new match here, and for this match he went live on Instagram, so I started aura farming a little bit. As you can see, I'm kind of messing around a little bit more, going for crazy shots and stuff, trying to chop and stuff like that, just having fun. But yeah, anytime I know that, you know, people are watching, or, you know, I got a good chance to do something cool, I kind of run with a little bit. I like to use the crowd a little bit. So I know, you know, Tripp's got a pretty good Instagram channel. It's called Carolina Pong. He's got a pretty good channel going, and I know he's going live. A lot of people probably watching, so I did my best to, you know, have fun with it, do some crazy stuff. But I really appreciate you guys tuning in to episode 3 of Train with the 2000. If you have questions about, you know, how I improve my flip, the things that I learned, relaxing your elbow, you know, trying to stay low, using your toes for footwork, you know, anything you guys have questions about, you know, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'm happy to try to help everyone as much as I can. If you have questions about Spindex or how to set up a league at your club, let me know. And you guys make sure to tune in next week to see how we did at the U.S. Open teams. My team is going to be me, Jermaine, Russell, Anise, and my chopper student Will. So you guys tune in and see how we do.